Good evening. Welcome back to Never a Foul. I go by the name of Double A. And it's about that time that we sit down and we talk about the two great sides, footballing sides from Manchester. We talk about the present, the past, the future, favourite goals, favourite players, worst moments as well. And we just delve into what is a great rivalry in football from the greatest city on earth, which is Manchester. But at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, we are always a City United here, only on the great channel, which is Never a Foul. If I can find the intro, we will go straight into it. So there we go. Here we go. Never a Foul, City United, Double A. Let's do it. You know what? I'm absolutely fuming. Let's just kick it off now before we get our guest on. There's no Daps tonight, so I'm flying solo in terms of me and Daps, but we have got a great guest lined up. I'm fuming. I've just spent 5 minutes, right, coming up with that intro, practiced it 3 or 4 times, thought, yes, I've smashed this. What a great intro. I'll be getting props, finishing off the line with the name of the show, a City United, and then I go and forget to line up the intro. What an absolute fail. That's going to get clipped. So I'm going to get absolute pelters from the boys in the Never a Foul WhatsApp group. But there we go. That happens. That's live YouTube for you. This is what happens. So big up everyone that is here. We're going to get our guest on now, and then I will run through the chat. Say hello to you guys that are all locked in. Before we get the guest on, make sure, though, that you are smashing a like on this video. We want to see as many likes on there, getting on the Explore page, people finding the show, people finding the channel, and seeing this great content that we are providing you every single day almost. We've got a lot to talk about. There's been a lot going on in both the Manchester United and City sides in terms of football. So there's a lot to chop up and get into. So yeah, we're going to get our guest on tonight. Daps is in Barcelona. If you believe the rumours, he's out there trying to stop Barcelona buying Bernardo Silva. I can't confirm or deny those though. But no, seriously, he's out there for the friendly. And so has a good time. Stay safe. Yeah, but we've got a great guest on. He's going to come on and talk about the blue half. Obviously, that's not me. I'm Manchester United through and through. But yeah, we're going to get him on. We're going to talk to him, find out a bit more about him, how he's feeling Manchester City's season is going, and how it feels it's going to go after the transfer window shuts, and how he feels about the weekend's result. It is Mason. So big up everyone. Make him feel welcome in the chat. Mason, good evening,
Right,
pal.
guys.
You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Yourself?
Oh, I'm all good, mate. Thank you for joining us while Daps is away. I'm going to say it's always nice to have a City fan on, but is that really the case? How I feel, I don't know. But I'm happy that you're here tonight, mate. And I'm looking forward to having a conversation with you, finding out a bit more about you and your love for, obviously, your team. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, same, mate. Same.
Brilliant stuff. So before we do that, we'll just get through some of the comments in the chat of who's locked in tonight. Noz, shout out Noz. Thank you for locking in. He's always here, even though he's a Liverpool fan. We will be talking about last night, Ilias, let me tell you. He's asking where Daps is. I've always explained that, but thank you for locking in anyway. Big up Raheem, who is locked in. He's already getting some love in the chat. Mason, it's in big up Mason for Raheem. Big up Solo as well, always showing the love in the chat. She's also showing some love for you as well, Mason. So, Bailey, thank you for locking in. Big up. Sid as well. Thank you, Sid. Always appreciate the support. Big up, guys. Treble Lords, big up. Nick Saunders. United helping the Blues for once. Well, we'll talk about that game last night, but I think we was helping ourselves more. It was a 6 point won it relegation battle more than a Champions League or title push. So I think we was helping ourselves more than you. But yeah, we'll see. Raheem coming in, all good. Double A, you almost nailed it. I did, you know. I'm so mad. I ruined that start. I practiced it, and then forgot to line up the bloody intro. What a nightmare I had there. So yeah, big up everyone locked in on the comments. We're hoping that you're going to be getting involved in the show tonight. We want to hear your opinions on everything that we're going to be talking about. Obviously, we start off as always. We look in to what our clubs have been up to over the weekend. We'll get into that a little bit in a second. What we want to do, though, is for those people that don't know Mason. Mason, tell us a little bit about yourself in terms of, your love for City and where it started and everything like that. Let people find out a bit more about you.
Yeah, so been a season ticket holder for years now. Sit South Stand 115, so it's a bit always with the close to the away fans. That's the sort of best way to be, in my personal opinion, at the ground. So yeah, it's been a bit of a mixture over the years. Been travelling for the aways, been travelling abroad. Just following the city as most I can. I think best thing, sort of how long I've been there and seeing it is, been through the shit times. Literally coming out of being in school. I dealt with it in school, which people moan about. Back, this was obviously 10 plus years ago, but people moan about growing up with the shit side of City. I had to deal with it in school, in high school. So we've been there, and it's a bit different now. That's kind of swaying to your side, but just one of them, mate. Just follow City as much as I can, really. Been a couple of times with Daps chatting. Met him out in Madrid. It was good. Bit of fun. So yeah, that's a bit more with me, mate. Just enjoy going and watching the boys, especially when there's sun involved.
Yeah. Oh well, you can't beat football in the sun, mate, can you? It's
never, mate, never.
You talk about being a City fan, obviously through the shit times and that, and I mean, obviously Manchester born and raised, so grew up with City fans my whole life, and a lot of people are like this as a United fan, but I can't begrudge those City fans, those fans that have been through the ringer, have watched us win trebles, win consistent league titles. I can't begrudge you having that success, because that's what football is about. The sort of, and people will moan again, saying obviously it's not really like the dream, because obviously you may have been backed by someone, but for your team going from so low to never expecting to maybe even get Champions League, never mind winning the league. So for you to have that success, obviously I've got City fans in my family. I can't begrudge you that. That's what every football fan wants. Like I say, I've been through it, and like I say, the tables have turned a little bit for now. For us, we're kind of looking up at you, thinking, yeah, we want to get back up there. But if you obviously talking about that, so that first league win, we'll talk about that quite quickly. That Aguero moment, was you there for that?
Yeah. So it was special. I'll be honest. It's I think the closest what we've had since, and it still doesn't kind of touch that, was the Gundogan moment. That was obviously recently. I know it's not. We all thought, is this going to be like it? Could it feel the same? And it just, don't get me wrong, it was amazing, but it doesn't feel the same. I think it was because of how long it was and what it meant on the day. Obviously, recently with it being Liverpool rather than United, it's when the Aguero moment happened. It was sat in the stands, hearing the lads next to you with the phones, sat there going, "Oh, the United game's over." All of them are waiting. They're on the pitch waiting, and then that happens. I don't speak for football fans about things they've done and things like that, but in terms of moments that you just live in the moment and you just have to be there, it was ridiculous. It was mad. It's something that many football fans talk about, and then coming from a City point of view, it's something that people remember the first kiss, people remember first misses they had, people had all this. I think a lot of City fans remember that Aguero moment.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously going on from that, that was sort of the catalyst, really. I know Daps talks about the FA Cup was really sort of maybe that turning moment where you actually became rivals and you became actual contenders for cups and for winning things. But I think winning the league, getting over that sort of that barrier and actually becoming league champions, I think that was sort of what have spurred you on to then go and keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. Do you think there'll ever be a moment that will top the Aguero moment? What do you think? Maybe winning the Champions League?
I think, listen, most City fans, there is a split, regardless of how the fans look at it. Some people aren't bothered, if you know what I mean. I know it sounds daft, but some people aren't bothered. We've done all this in sort of English football, and then there's the other side of it, which does include myself, where it's like, it's just that icing on the cake. It's that when we win that, yeah, there'll always be, oh, well, we've won it 2 times, we've won it 3 times, all this, that will always happen. But it's that icing on the cake then when people go, you've done all this great stuff, but you never won Champions League. So I'm sat on that side of the fence where maybe I don't think it'll ever top it. if I'm honest. I don't think many City fans will probably tell you that. I don't think he'll ever top it. Just because of what it meant. You know what I mean? It was different to many things. You know, people have been there in the past winning Champions Leagues and things like that. But to do it for so long for our generation, especially, you know, with my dad who's been going, never seen it, or, you know, not the Premier League, for example. And then that happens, it's kind of like, shit, that's happened in my lifetime. It's just one of them moments that, from a City fan's point of view, people look on the outside and go, okay, there's only one cup, you know what I mean? But to us, it was massive. So
amazing. I think a lot of it may be more Reds on social media, but Reds or Blues, sorry, on social media. That I think there's a certain group of City fans that maybe want to win the Champions League just to shut up rival fans and not necessarily bothered about winning it. But you think once they do it, no one can ever chat to them again about it. And I think, do you think you agree with that? Like, it can be just one of those just to get it out the way, and then you can just forget about it and never have to bother about it again. Or
I think the big thing for us, it sounds daft, but it's like a stress relief, and it is that we live in this day and age now of social media where one mistake happens. You seen it last night. We all boys, you know, the memes you see of players, all this. Yeah. If we do that, it kind of shuts. It sounds cheap, but the younger generation of these memes and like, you've done this, you never won Champions League. I think that's where a lot of it comes from. I think the big thing for us now, if we do win it, it's kind of then. Listen, it's more of a scary thing. Let's keep it, be honest, because if City go and win that, and then say we do go and win the Prem and we do the, you know, we were all sat there, probably yourself included, last year when Liverpool still had that you know, elusive quad that every single social media outlet talked about. If the Premier League team does that, and it ever does happen, it is scary moments for any other club, because it's one of them where it's like, shit, they've just done that and no one else has. You know, it was kind of a thing. City fans say about the domestic thing. I know it's a dinner plate trophy and all that, but if some team actually done that when Liverpool done it, I remember being sat there with all the lads at the football and going, shit, these are still in all 4 cups. Like, what are we going to do if Liverpool win this? And then it was like, from both sides of Manchester, it was kind of a bit like, this can't happen. So if City ever did get to a point where we won the Champions League and things like that, then maybe it would shut a few people up.
Yeah, A1, thanks for locking in. He said, you know, if we win the Champions League, rival fans will be like, you only have one. I don't think you can, but I don't think you can actually do that, because one is better than none, and I think that's the stick a lot of rival fans are beating you with. You've never won it. Oh, what about Europe? Once you've got one, they can't talk to you because you're on the table. You know, you sat at the big boy table and it's done. Do you think if City do it, you stop booing the Champions League anthem?
No. That doesn't change, mate. You know the crack with that. It's the same with FFP. It's the same with all this. And that, it stopped getting booed. It's corrupt. It's a corrupt cup, and it always will be. But you know, when we win it with the people that beat you with, so it's calm.
Yeah, that's it. You can throw it back in the face. All right, that's great. So, in terms of how, let's talk about the season and how the season's unfolding for City. How have you found it so far? Obviously, you know, you're still unbeaten. Obviously, the draw at the weekend. But in terms of how you've started, do you see a lot of the same form carrying on from last season, or how do you the dynamic changing with Haaland coming in? What are your expectations or hopes for this coming season?
So I think there's a big one. There was a stigma around City for years that people said, are they missing that one person that's a striker? You know, for all them that's happened, it happened for years when we were using the wing backs, you know, people coming in, whipping the ball in last minute and there was no one there. You know, we did that for years and we missed it. So when we brought Haaland in, listen, I don't know one City fan, and if you want to show me someone, if you want to tell me someone, I don't know one City fan that's turned around to me and gone, why have we bought Haaland? And I just don't. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't. You get people going, oh, maybe we don't need a striker, and it's like, well, we do need a striker because we're not won Champions League. Yeah. You know, maybe that it sounds daft. The Real Madrid game, Haaland was on, might have been a bit different story. You know, it's if buts or maybes, but I think the way we've set out this year, especially adapting, because it will be. Listen, I know he's done 3 goals, 3 games. He's got an assist, which is mad, but
What more could you want,
Yeah,
really?
I think it will be an adapt. It will be a learning curve. We don't play. Guardiola has not played with strikers through most of
For a
his
while.
managerial career. Like,
Yeah.
not just at City. He was selling
Yeah, yeah.
people like Eto, Ibrahimovic. He's done it in the past. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
It's not a thing where we're going to click and it's going to happen straight away. You can see with the at the weekend, Foden again not squaring the ball to Haaland. Maybe that's because they're not used to it. That might be. It's. I think it is a time thing, but in terms of where we've come from last season, I think it's kind of, listen, City are, it sounds biased, City are one of the best run clubs in the world. They are, regardless of what people say. You can see the way it folds between everyone. You never really hear of a behind the scenes shits hit the fan with City. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I know
No, yeah,
there's the odd
none of
thing,
them
but
leaks come out, do they?
yeah, it's kind of, when we do something, I feel like they've done it with a plan where the fans have obviously been, we need a striker, we need a striker, we need a striker. We've brought a striker in.
Yeah.
Maybe the left back, yeah, it's a young lad. I think a lot of City fans, including myself, were a bit hurt that we lost Zinchenko. I've on the pods I've done with Daps before, I've said it countless times how much I'm annoyed that we lost Zinchenko.
Was he really that much of a big loss? Because I didn't know City really liked him that much, or he was that well thought of at the club. To be honest,
see, I think what it was with us, there is a select few where it's kind of, he's not lost. It doesn't really matter. But then it's the bigger picture of, look what happened last season to City when we were playing people like Fernandinho at right back, when we were playing an injured John Stones, an injured Kyle Walker. Like, it was always, the backup was great to be had, but I think it was one of them now. We're seeing it, him at Arsenal. I think with him, it was one of them where we don't know what we had until we've lost it with Zinchenko. And listen, it's one big gripe that your lot will probably say about City, and we say it ourselves. Guardiola you'll never predict a Guardiola lineup ever. It just doesn't work. So
I think the people have the most gripe are the FPL managers, mate. To be honest with you, other than that, I think they're the people that hate him the most in terms of that. But go on about Zinchenko.
Yeah, I just feel like it was one of them where we maybe did have to change, because it was, was he City quality? And coming into this new season, you think, is he going to be someone that can do it, that he can come on, change a game? I know he did the odd 2 games in Champions League, and he did. He come on and changed it, but then you're thinking, if Cancelo's fit, he's never going to play. He's just never going to play. And then bringing in this new lad, this Gomez, then it is kind of like, if he's willing to wait. I know players don't necessarily like that, but if he's willing to wait and train up and develop, then it can only be a plus as long as players stay fit.
Yeah, he's about 21, is he? He's quite young. Yeah. So I think he's coming in. He's probably not expected to start. Obviously, coming into the Champions, you're probably waiting for your moment, kind of thing, and hoping to grasp it like most players do that are sort of understudied. We saw it with Malacia last night, which we'll come on to later on. So, yeah, in terms of how the season started, then. So what is, or moving on, what is your expectations this year? Obviously, winning the league. I'm imagining you're looking for the 3-peat. You want to do 3 in a row, which we're the only ones that have done it in the Premier League anyway. But what is success for City this season? Is it the Champions League? Is it a treble? What are they looking for? What will satisfy you?
It's for me personally. Yeah, it's the Champions League. It isn't a case of, listen, we may have got greedy as fans. I don't personally agree with that. I know you hear it a lot on social media, like, they're fuming if they don't win this and blah. That's just the way we are now, and it is. We weren't like this many years ago. We weren't winning it. We've won constant trophies for 10 plus years now. Do you know what I mean? We've won trophies. It's a growing thing. That's what everyone wants. It's what every fan wants, and the club want. So I think for this season, listen, let's box the Prem off again. Let's do that. That's a hit at. Let's piss United fans off more. Let's piss Liverpool fans off more. Let's just keep doing it. Let's keep winning it. That's you'd say the same if the roles were reversed.
Of course.
The cups, the FA Cup, even the Carabao, for example, it was great when we were winning that, 5 times in a row, because it's a trophy. It's a trophy at the end of the day.
Never get bored. Never get bored of winning trophies, mate.
No,
never get bored
because
of
it's that. It goes back to that thing of you get that little, the one over. You get the one over on fans, and it's just, Might be a little kick, but that's it's better than nothing. So
It's better than out. Yeah.
for me, I think it's got to be. Listen, it's got to be the Champions League. I'm sick of having that conversation every year, and we've been close. We've been extremely close.
Nothing you can probably get, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm sick of that every year. It's heartbreak. Listen, grown men, myself included, cried. Like it happens. We've all been there.
Yeah.
It's one of them things. Us as fans now are sick of that. It's about time.
Yeah.
We actually won it.
Definitely. Just a couple of comments here. Just regarding the mug I'm drinking out of. Soups is Double A using a City mug. Bailey said the same thing. Is that a City mug? Of course, it's not a City mug. I've got a United shirt in the background. Do you think I'm going to be? So it's a Talking Kit, which is obviously my YouTube channel. If you don't know about Talking Kit, make sure you go and subscribe. I saw Solo throw the link in. It's a Boca Juniors sort of dedication to Maradona when Maradona passed away. Sort of Talking Kit mug. So obviously, I'm not going to drink out of a City mug. I don't even own anything City in the house, so come on, let's not be that.
Could be a Carlos Tevez mug.
It's definitely not Carlos Tevez either. Let me tell you that for now. Just before we get on, do smash a like on the video. Make sure you're commenting, sharing it, smashing it, and also subscribing to the channel. The channel's doing great things. The show earlier on with Cass, Ty, and Mo was absolutely immense. Make sure you go and check that out later on. It was brilliant talking about United and Liverpool yesterday. But yeah, make sure you're smashing a like on this video as well. We are City United, talking about the two greatest teams in Manchester. Well, obviously in Manchester, but I can't say you're the greatest team in the Premier League. I just can't allow myself to say it.
You're thinking it.
So yeah, I'll move on. So we'll talk about Sunday then. 3-3 against Newcastle. Probably not many people saw that result happening. I know Kendall, who's been on the channel, a Newcastle fan, she was expecting the worst. So you're 3-1 down at one point.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts going into it? Did you go first of all?
Yeah. So yeah,
you was there. So leading up to it, getting to the ground, walking up all stairs to the very heights of
and some more
to heaven and beyond.
More than that.
I've been there. It's a nightmare. What were your thoughts before the game then? Was you confident going in after obviously the 4-0 against Bournemouth?
Yeah, so without even lying and trying to act in case I get called out on it, I was sat there saying to all lads in the pub, this is going to be a 3-4-0 slap in this. This is going to be City look like they've come out, when De Bruyne's on the form that he is, it's very, very hard to see a City slapping not happen. Because everything he touches, it seems to go somewhere, even though the past did in that game. So I was very optimistic. When we went 1-0 up, I thought, looked at my mate and was like, I told you, being a bit cocky, being a bit like, so here we go, I told you it's coming already.
Yeah.
And then quickly realising, I'll accept the hate that I'm worried about John Stones at the back. Which I am. There's a big, deep thing into that about him playing with. Listen, Ake's been unbelievable for us for the past couple of games. Even the back end of last season, I don't know where it's come from. Listen, he's seems to have sort of been a bit of a revolution for us at the minute. But in terms of John Stones, listen, I'm not a professional footballer. I will never sit there and slander a City player too much in my life. But to get beat the first time for the when St. Maximin, we all know what he's capable of. He was running at him. The one rule a defender should know: don't turn your back to the attack. Or the first thing he did was turn his back and run backwards. Like against a player like that, that's not. That ain't going to work. Yeah. So then the free kick. Listen, the free kick. We know Trippier's done that. He give us all hope in the World Cup and the Euro. Sorry, he. We knew he could do that. We said it. If we get a free kick in a dangerous place, it could be a bit ropey.
Yeah.
Obviously, it worked out. But then again, the other goal, John Stones, same thing again. So I'm sat there thinking, right, this is something's going on here. When we went 3-1 down, I thought it's not without sounding. Do you know what I do? It's not even about sounding like that. We've done it before where we've come back Villa. We've done it Aguero. We've done it for years where we've done things like this where it's
You're
not
confident. You're
necessarily over.
confident.
Yeah, it wasn't too late in the game. It wasn't too late at all. So it wasn't a thing about 3-1. I thought, Jesus, at St James's Park, it's not going to be easy. This, they know the players come out before and said it. The crowd get behind them. It's going to be a struggle. When the second goal went in and we finally started seeing a bit of that magic come back, I thought, floodgates could go open, and then it just wasn't enough. Listen, the red card, like mixed signals. Me personally, if you're hitting someone in the knee, you're off the floor.
Yeah.
I get from maybe like another fan's point of view, they might be a bit like, no, he's done this, but I didn't go into it. I'm sorry, but for my understanding, he's off the floor. He's contacted his knee. The referee's clearly seen something to go 1 minute, because that's a deliberate red card, for them to go to the screen and go, it's not.
Yeah.
Kind of annoys you, but then at the end of the day, would anything have changed because of how we played? I don't really know.
No. Bit of Almiron redemption. Was you happy to see that?
I knew that was going to come up. Listen, it's one of them, but there's one thing that I'll say, and I've said this to Daps, I say it to everyone. So that may have happened for you all in this Almiron redemption. Wait till they come to the Etihad. It's going to be a dusty day for a lot of Newcastle fans, believe me.
Proud to be Geordie locked in. Thanks for locking in. He's giving that sort of cheeky grin. Do you hear this? What Mason's saying? Wait to get to the Emirates. You're gonna be seeing about Almiron redemption. So I mean, you come away with a point. Probably, being 3-1 down. Probably, Solo. I think Solo said after that first half, they would have took the point. So you get out there obviously unscathed. Obviously Liverpool losing. It's probably and Chelsea losing. Probably softens that blow a little bit. Would you say, in terms of obviously they're seen to be the title challengers for you this season?
Yeah and no. Yeah. I get the softens the blow, but then it's kind of one of them. Obviously we've got to chat about sort of yesterday as well. But I think the way Arsenal play, and listen, I don't think this Arsenal thing is going to continue. I don't. That's me being honest. They've done it before. Yeah. They've done it many years, and then when the games start coming and they start coming thick and fast, they don't have this squad. And I know they bought people,
but they got Europa. They got Europa League, and then they're going to be playing. Yeah. I think it will catch up with them, because it caught up with us when we did it and got to the final. We couldn't get over that line. So I know exactly what you're saying, and I think they will struggle, especially when a couple of players aren't in form, and you really start to see where their squad is going to be. So I can see them falling away. I think they'll 5th or 6th maybe. I don't think they'll get top 4 personally. But
I think yesterday, going on to a bit of that, I think with for me personally, I'm never going to sit here, and this isn't a lie, I will never sit here and say I want United to win. I just won't. It's not going to happen. Regardless of where I sit at the minute with Liverpool. Listen, it was great when you scored, because then you're not going to like this, but then when you scored again, and I thought, Jesus, what's happening with United here? Something's not right. Something's happened. I thought, but then
it's a fair assessment, mate. It's a fair assessment.
In the back of my head, I thought, this is typical United. From a City fan, this is typical United. You're going, I'm a Liverpool, and then next week against Southampton, you probably get beaten 4-0.
It's true. It's very true. Just before we'll move on to United in a minute, one thing I would say to you, Mason, is how I always get out of it is, if it's you and Liverpool, I'll say I don't want City to win, I just want Liverpool to lose, and that's the way you get around it. So you're never actually saying you want you to win. We have to talk about it, and Daniel's put it in there. That Kevin De Bruyne pass. I mean, he just continues to defy what a footballer can do with a football. It's horrible to say, and I say this to Daps all the time on this show. I'm sick of City having players that it's hard not to like. From Aguero, even to Balotelli, all these players, it's hard not to like them because of who they are, the sort of characters they are, what they do on the pitch, week in, week out. But Kevin De Bruyne, again, he gets doubted. He's getting older. He's getting slower. He's lost the magic a little bit. The guy is just a genius. And you have to just sit back, watch it, and applaud him that he constantly delivers. And you must be so happy that he plays for your club. You must be.
Listen, there's some, the my Twitter handles are about you can give me abuse, people can throw abuse at me. I'm going to sound like that guy from the Martial meme, but there's one thing that I'll always say about De Bruyne. I have chats with my missus family. They're all United fans. You know, my little brother's a United fan, so I have these chats with them about the best sort of midfielder and the people you look for in a midfield.
Yeah.
When you watch De Bruyne, and obviously I'll never understand it from another fan's point of view, because it is always going to be, regardless of what is blue tinted goggles, whatever we say about De Bruyne, the ground he walks on's gold, whatever happens. But when other fans watch him, I just sit there and I think, I struggle to think of someone who's better than him in midfield, and that may bring hate. And I sit there, and this is where me and Daps have spoke about this actually in the past. I think you have your chats of, you know, at the minute, like what we're playing now, still like your Modric's, your Kroos's, all these people, and I sit there and go, all these things they've done, what have they done that De Bruyne hasn't? And then all it'll ever come back to, and it will, and this was what we said before, it's Champions League. It does, and that's support. Take away. I know it's, listen, you've got to be there to win it, and it's not an individual; it's a team winning it, and all this blah blah.
Yeah.
Put De Bruyne in that Real Madrid team, he would have had 5-6 Champions League medals. You know,
like maybe even more.
Yeah,
maybe even more.
So I sit there and I think, when he does retire, maybe he's got, you know, it worries me when he runs and his knees go, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, there we go again. Maybe he has got another 3-4 years in the Premier League, because he can, where he's playing now, he can maybe sit back a bit. We've seen Guardiola do it, change players around, whatever. He's what, I think I read something the other day, he's not far off Gerrard's assist tally in like 285 games less or something like that. Some ridiculous stat like that. And I'm thinking, people throw these Gerrards out there, people throw these Lampards out there, and I just think, why is no one throwing this De Bruyne in this scenario? And it sounds, when a City fan says it, it sounds like it's this blue tinted, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. But I just don't see what he can't do. Like, you look at him and it is like you're watching, if you're playing against, big prime example, Wolves last season.
Yeah.
Midfielder scored, he could have been on that pitch on his own. He literally could have been on that pitch on his own.
Yeah.
So, like, I just sit there and I think, for a City fan, listen, it's amazing. You see him walking out, and I bet other teams think, for fuck's sake, he's back. Like, he's playing again.
Honestly, and it's the sad thing about football, and obviously being in the moment, because you always feel that players are underappreciated and undervalued. And I think you've had a couple in your team through the years. Aguero, David Silva. He was the next one I was coming to. You know, I'd even say Vincent Kompany into it, you know, to a certain degree. Fernandinho is definitely one, and I'd say even maybe he probably gets a little bit more love than the rest of them in terms of Yaya Toure, I think, but because he's been retired for a few years now. But in 10 years' time, when De Bruyne has been retired for 10 years, and we're missing that magic that he's bringing, you will see, and there's the clips of him, and the Premier League are sort of loading this love onto him. You will understand the love that he's had. I think he does have universally throughout the league. I don't think there's anyone other than, you know, maybe bitter Liverpool fans or even United fans or whatever. But I think universally we love that he's in the Premier League. I think he was linked with a move away, wasn't he, a couple of seasons ago? I remember was it a contract running down? Speculation.
He was the Real Madrid speculation.
Yeah. And I remember it wasn't just City fans that were like, no, we can't lose him, because we want the best players in the league. We want the best players to be playing here, because, you know, it's us watching it. We get to go every single week. You know, I've been lucky enough to watch Brazilian Ronaldo, Eric Cantona, Messi and Cristiano all live, and you know, that's what you want to be seeing. You know, Messi's obviously just on the one occasion for Barcelona, but you want to have their moments, and getting to do it week in, week out in the Premier League, especially when they play for your team. There's nothing better for that, and I think De Bruyne will go down. I hold this up, and I'm obviously a Scholes over Gerrard and Lampard, but I think the best midfielder that's ever played in the league is actually Roy Keane. When De Bruyne retires, hold hands up, he will go down as the best midfielder the Premier League has ever seen. Like you said, there's nothing that any of them can do that he can't do, and a lot of the time does it 10 times better. a lot better. So, you know, like I say, sometimes you're a victim of the moment, and you can't be
No, of
appreciated,
course,
or
yeah.
you won't be
That's football.
appreciated. But it'll come, and I think, you know, it's just great that you've obviously got him for your team.
I think with just last thing on De Bruyne, what the one thing I think a lot of fans do see, which, you know, it is, like you said, and that the lad put in the comment, it's them passes.
Yeah,
It's stuff like that you see, and it's just, you sit there and you look at him put a ball through, and then you might have done it in the past. I'm not too sure. People sit there and they go, "Oh, it doesn't look hard being a footballer." You know, they do a bit of running. Some of them are all right. Some of them are world class. You look at him do a pass and you think, maybe it's harder than it looks.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it is, and makes it look so easy.
Yeah, look at this from Patman. Thank you, Patman, for throwing this in the chat. Lampard, 609 games, 102 assists. Gerrard, 504 games, 92 assists. KDB, 213 games, 89 assists. I mean, you shouldn't always read into stats, and stats can be misleading. But when you look at those numbers, for a player that, you know, that, like you say, isn't being talked about in those echelons yet, that is crazy. That is unbelievable numbers to be pulling up. And these two, you know, the media darlings, whatever you want to say, you know, to get talked about as the best two in the generation. But KDB, you know, he's gonna beast them in terms of his assists and stuff like that. So yeah, I won't worry too much about KDB. His legacy will be held up, and I think you'll be absolutely fine. We'll move on to United and last night. So yeah, I was at the game. Met Cass, another one of the Never a Foul hosts. First time meeting him. Honestly, like, I can't explain to you. Like, obviously, being a season ticket holder for a long time, and everyone who watches this show regular will know how honest I am and open I am about Manchester United's troubles, what's wrong with the club, and everything like that. I don't hold back. I'm not deluded. I know for a fact that we are shite. A lot of the players don't deserve to wear the jersey, the shirt, whatever you want to say. Yeah, you have to be, mate. And I can't sit here and defend United and say we've got this, we've got that, we've got that. I watch them week in, week out. I know exactly the limitations of this team, and you know, whatever you want to say. And the first two games, you felt that it was going the same way it went under Ollie, and it went under every single manager we've had post Fergie. In that they were throwing this manager under the bus, this new manager. So, you know, he had the balls last night to drop Maguire and to drop Shaw. I'm not going to talk about them too much, but he made the right decision in throwing Varane back in, the best defender we've got at the club, serial winner, and Malacia, who for me could be up there in the top three in terms of man of the match. And I think, I don't know if I said it on this show last week, but I've said it all week on different shows and different streams, that I knew Manchester United would turn up simply for the fact that I knew the atmosphere would be one of the best Old Trafford has seen for many years. Because one thing you'll get with United fans is that they're quite defiant, and they're quite. We love the club, but we hate the way the club is run, and we hate some of the players that are playing for the club. So I knew United fans would turn up and would be singing in defiance against the owners and against what we've been seeing on the pitch. And just to let people know that we are still here, like the song goes, we'll never die, we'll never die. Because that's it. You may go, you may retire, you may sell up, but we'll still be turning up and watching the team. And yeah, I mean, it was beautiful to see. And, you know, Casemiro came out. We sang We Want Glazers Out. We scored the first goal. Soon after, we sang We Want Glazers Out. Second goal, same happened. So it doesn't matter what they're throwing in our face. Yes, you want to go and buy De Jong and Anthony and Gakpo and all these players to maybe try and shut us up, but we're not going anywhere. And the message is very, very clear that we want you to sell up. We've had 17 years of you taken out. The last 10 years have been the worst, possibly in the club's history, in terms of the lowering and lowering expectations. The allowing, we've allowed City and Liverpool to overtake us. Yes, you've got money. Liverpool have run quite well. They've got one of the best managers in the world. But we not that we could have stopped it completely, but we could have, you know, we could have put a little bit of a barrier in between it in terms of competing and getting the best out there and still being Manchester United. And we've not done that. So for last night to see these players, because we know these players can play. We saw a little bit of them in pre-season. We saw what we thought was a little bit of daylight or some sort of light at the end of the tunnel. But then obviously Brighton happened, and then the catastrophe at Brentford. And I know so many United fans were just didn't expect anything from that game. And I said I knew we'd win 2-1. I just had a feeling that this team would show up, and eventually they would get it, and it would click. And whether they thought the fans were singing for them or not, it kind of gave them that extra 30%. And I think it just spurred them on. And I think we got into them, they got into us, and we just kind of fed off each other, and we really made it impossible for City to play, for Liverpool to play in that first half. That's probably one of the best 45 minutes I've seen a United team play in a while in terms of stopping a great team playing football. And yeah, Martial came on at halftime and changed the game in a different way. But that first half for me was sort of the catalyst for us to go on and win the game. Jadon Sancho, great goal. Rashford with a great finish as well. Could have had a couple more. I know Elanga it hit the post, and Rashford probably should have had another one. But it was great, and you know, we're not getting carried away. We're not going to say we're going to get top four, but it's just nice to know that we can enjoy a Manchester United performance, not just nick a win and play okay. We actually played really well, and yeah, I just hope it kicks on now. We've got Southampton away, difficult game at the weekend, but I'm just hoping we can finally just start to play and be Eric Ten Hag's Manchester United, and these players can finally get it. And I didn't say I'd say it, but I'm going to say it, and I hope Maguire and Shaw get nowhere near the team ever again. That'd be really great. Mason, what were your thoughts on the game? Did you watch it? And
yeah. So I think yeah, you did play without me being bitter. I'll come to that in a minute and throw a bit of shade, but without me thinking, yeah, I did. It was definitely you could tell the young lad, the left back, comfortably your man of the match. I don't even think that should be a debate. I understand Rashford played well. I get that. I know Sancho's a knob, so whatever. But I know, like, I just think him yesterday to play against arguably one of the best players in the world and keep the head up. I know he scored, but set piece, like it is what it is. How young he is and how he played, because I bet it was a case of they got in that changing room. He sat there and he went, right, you're playing lad, who am I marking? Salah, shit. I bet he was thinking, Jesus, like, what am I going to do? Yeah. And he did. Even a City fan saying that he played well, because listen, I'll be honest, a lot of fans probably said that. I thought when you bought him, I thought he's all right in that league. You know, the managers bought him. I thought, is he actually any good? Yesterday, he actually shown a bit of class. He did. He played well. He played well for where he was playing against, and obviously the team in Liverpool. I know they've not been the Liverpool we all know. For example, you know, I know I have a different stance on the Liverpool we know because, you know, it's 2 trophies in God knows how many years for Klopp. But, you know, I think the way United played, it was the first half for me more than the second half, and this is where I will throw a bit of shade and shit because I'm going to do that anyway. That's what I'm here for. But the second half, there was bits of it, and I thought if this was the top tier Liverpool team we know, it could have been a bit worse. Listen, Van Dijk was reenacting a Liam fucking Gallagher concert at one point. You know, standing there doing nothing. I don't know what he was doing, but
yeah.
There was parts of the Saturday, and I thought they actually looked like a team, and I think that's what United's problem's been, and that's me speaking just from an outside fan's point of view from the other side of the city. It looks like it's a team of individuals, and this whole thing of the Ronaldo effect, and you read that how you want, you know, your take on it be very different to mine, but I feel like yesterday there was that bit of, you know, they were running, they were moving, Varane suplexing players out of the way and all this and moving players. It was actually that, watching it, thinking, taking the blue tinted goggles off before they actually look well. Listen, do I think you're not going to like this, but do I think you're going to go on and do this every single week? No, I don't. That's me being honest. That's me being completely honest. You got that bit between your teeth. I won't be coming on here having this debate with you if it wasn't. But you got the bit between you. You had your fans, which I am a massive advocate of. It is fans. I can't be arsed with any of this. You buy good players. The fans make a massive difference.
100%.
They do.
100%.
So it was that, you know, the Glazer thing, I don't really want to talk on that because it's, it is what it is. But for us, it's funny. It's great. It is for you. It might be heartbreaking, but for us, I don't want to sling that much shine.
Best thing that's ever happened to you.
But in terms of going forth in the season and seeing it, listen, come back to me after you play Southampton, and that could be a 2-0, and then they're all back with the yellow and green scarves waving them about again. Like I don't know, I don't know, but you beat Liverpool, you got that trophy, you've. But to be fair, you didn't just beat them, because at times what you did, you outclassed them, and I hate to say that, it hurts me to say it, but you did, and it's just like to do that to a Liverpool team that we know.
Yeah,
you kind of think, is there something there? Has he mastered it? And leaving the smeg fridge out. Not playing McFred,
Yeah,
we don't know. We don't know. You might be on a new path, but we'll see.
We'll see. I agree with you, mate. Like, we are still going to see bumps in the road because it's a process. It's not just going to turn on one result. But I think the fact it can be done, and that is now the standard. We as fans should now expect that. That should be a given. That the running and running and running. We outran Liverpool, and considering how little we ran against Brentford, we automatically saw a change. And yeah, I agree with you. We're not going to be able to do over 90 minutes. And I think if it was a Liverpool in form, you're looking at a draw. Maybe they could have gone and snuck it, like you would have done in terms of that. But I think it's just a case of United fans can be a little bit excited in what we saw last night. And I think that I'm under no illusions the mess that we're in, and some of the players. But we're looking to bring other players in that are winners, that will be able to do what Ten Hag wants to do, and do have the technical and mental capability to do it. And we'll just have to see. Like say, we've got a hard game on Southampton. Let's get that win. That's all that matters at the moment. And you take it. All we can do now is take it game by game. We've won our first one. It's a big one, and it's the one. If you'd have asked us to win one of the three that we've played so far, every fan's going to pick that, aren't they? So it's done with now. And we move on to Saturday. So, yeah, we'll before we get onto the main topic of the show, let's quickly talk about transfer window. Last week of that, there's still Bernardo Silva up in the air, maybe a little bit. What do you see happening with City? Do you think that's a case closed now?
Yeah, I do. I massively do, mate. I think this Bernardo Silva thing. We had a chat with Daps and a couple of other people that come on. Cass was on as well. There's a couple of chats going around about the Bernardo Silva thing weeks ago, and I made a thing in it that did get clipped, and a couple of people talking about it. The transfer rumours, this Barcelona thing, it sounded like they were coming from Bernardo Silva's dog rather than Barcelona themselves. Like 1 minute it was they're going to do this, and then it come out City said they want 80 million. A day later they were like, right, we'll give you 40. That'll be all right. We'll give you 14. It'll be, and it's just I'm sat there thinking, we've lost Sterling, regardless of. I don't want to get too much into that with the Sterling thing because I know it is 50-50 with a lot of fans. But we lost Sterling, we lost Zinchenko, we lost Jesus.
Yeah.
For us to turn around and then go and lose Bernardo Silva, and listen, Pep's always said if a player wants to go, they can go. Don't keep no one against the wall because it never works out. It never ever works out. But. Yeah. I think losing someone like Bernardo Silva, he's loved at the club. You've heard the songs, you've heard this. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it. There was a bit the other day against Bournemouth. He come on, they were singing the Bernardo Silva song that we sing, and he just stood on the pitch and started clapping. And it was like, it's the minimal things, it's the small things that when you see that as a fan, you think, he might actually stay. And don't get me wrong, there was bits where. There was a doubt. Listen, there was a doubt. There always will be. I've always said when Real Madrid, regardless of what situation they're in, when Real Madrid and Barcelona come knocking, especially for players that have come from sort of overseas and things like that, with the Spanish, Portuguese things, it's very, very hard, and it must be for them. Obviously, we're not in their shoes. We don't know how it works, but it must be hard to turn around and go, I know I'm winning all this at City, but could go down as a legend at Barcelona.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I know it maybe has changed now. Maybe things have changed. I don't know. Me growing up, it was Real Madrid, Barcelona winning all these things and doing this, it was. But then it was kind of. I sat there and I thought, if we lose him, it goes from a transfer window that was great to a transfer window that all these players have forgot about because we've lost Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
So it was the early stages. Cucurella, didn't want him. You can run back. Anyone that's watched it, run back and watch the videos. You know, Mr. Samson Cucurella, he is dog shite, and he is. I know he got Brighton player. Right, listen, he got Brighton player of the year. Cool.
Is it,
like that.
Is it just because he scored a good goal against United? Is that the only reason why people rate him?
Mate, I don't even know. Listen, he's got a good set of hair. I give him that. But like, I just don't. He was sat there liking tweets of City's posts and doing this.
Yeah.
Really I'm sat there thinking,
yeah.
I thought there's something there, but then it's like maybe we are a bit. To be fair, we can be now. We can be. Maybe it is one of them where it's, all right, if you don't want to come, see you later.
Yeah.
Like it's not our loss, and sometimes it does bite you on the arse. It does, but
of course, yeah.
I just think, so what? Bye, see you later. Go and let Chelsea spend 50 million. So that bit of the transfer was a bit iffy for me. But listen, overall, mate, we can't complain. They can't be sure there. I don't know if you know.
It's been a good win though. Do you think? Do you think that's it then? Do you think there'll be nothing else from City in terms of that, or any outgoings, or do you think that'll be it now?
I think personally, I think that's it. Someone throw a comment in if you think I'm wrong here saying this, but I think we've had probably one of the best transfers in terms of what we needed. Liverpool, the only one thing I'll say about Liverpool, every year they seem to pick the right people that they need. They did it with Van Dijk, they did it with Alisson. You know, they've done it with people in the past. I think this year, now we have got this left back in. He's a young kid. We'll see. Yeah. Could be terrible. Could be an elite OV2. We don't know until that happens. But I think overall, I'm happy. Listen, we got Haaland. Do you know what I mean? We got Erling Haaland in. No matter how much you want to play that down,
that's it.
Man City signed Erling Haaland. Like,
and for what, just over 50 million, or was it under 50 million? Something mad like that. Like a real crazy price.
Ridiculous price. I think the only hurt was losing maybe Jesus and Zinchenko, but then we kind of looked at that as they want game time. Fair play. You can't hold a player from that.
No, you can't. No. Okay, no problem. In terms of United, I think you're going to see a busy week, mate. I think, the talk of 4 players maybe coming in. But this is all desperation from the Glazers. That, the sense that the fans are happy. They saw it yesterday. There's a buyer now, and that's why it's really turning the screw, because we've never had a viable buyer, and now there is one. They're throwing money because they feel like they need to and get the fans back on side. But we're not listening. Casemiro, listen, Brazil are my national team. I absolutely love Casemiro. One of my favourite players. I'm over the moon he plays for United. 30 years old or not, I love that he's a United player. That's not going to keep me silent. De Jong, if we get him as well, potentially got 2 of the best midfielders in the league, I'm not going to be happy. Anthony, another Brazilian player, really great player. Someone United need, a wide player with a left foot, I'm not going to be happy. Gakpo, young player, will be a good backup to sort of Martial, Sancho, Anthony and Rashford. I ain't going to be happy. Go and buy Kevin Trapp as well. Another backup goalkeeper, potential number 1. I'm not going to be happy. So I think we're going to see a lot of activity because they need that positive spin. And I think the trend with United on it's deadline day, because they love to be in trending. They love to be all over social media. You look at Falcao, you look at Cavani, Ahmad, Palestra, all done on deadline day. All these deals he'd like to do on deadline day. So you're going to see a lot of that. And I think we could potentially go for 4 players, which is needed in this squad. Eric Bailly's going, I believe, going to Marseille on loan on a ridiculous price of 6 million that they'll pay for him, and he's worth at least 15. So that's one outgoing. There's a few more that should go. Let's hope Chelsea confirm that interest in Maguire and get him, because that would be nice, but never going to happen. But yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be interesting last few days of the window. Like I say, personally, I want United to go and get a couple more signings. If we can get De Jong and Anthony over the line, that would be brilliant. I'd like Ronaldo to stay, but I can understand why he wants to go. But I think he may be forced to stay. Weirdly, I know he wasn't happy last night, but we'll see what happens. If there's anyone we can read them in a bit. Is anyone in the chat? Anyone you'd like United or City to buy in the last few days of the window? Let us know. Also, as well, before we get into our top 3 derby goals or derby day goals, don't forget to smash a like on the video. Get as many likes in as possible because we get shown on the Explore page, which means more viewers. And if you haven't already and you are new to Never a Foul, make sure you subscribe to the channel because we are one of the greatest channels on YouTube, giving you the best football content around. So, yeah, let's move on to our main main talking point, but yeah, the title of the show. Me and Mason have both picked our top 3 Derby Day goals. So they may not be yours, they are ours. So in the chat, when you're like, oh, how can you forget this goal, this, we've picked them because they mean the most to us. Okay, so you can agree, disagree. We want to hear what you think. Let us know yours as well. I know a few people have been jumping in the chat already to say which ones they like and don't like. But we'll start with yours, Mason, being the guest on the show tonight. So we'll go from 3 to 1 in terms of why you've picked them. So here are your 3 top 3 Derby Day goals. Let's start with number 3 then. Sean Wright-Phillips from 2004. What was it about this goal for you?
So I think it's obviously been a fan obviously my whole life, but I think what it was with Phillips is always that for a lot of City fans it may speak to a bit of even the older generation that are above my age for this. Yeah. I feel like Sean Wright-Phillips for us, he was that little whippet, he was that little cool edgy player that wasn't necessarily going to be like a world's greatest player, but it was just the way he played. He dead agile on the ball, could always keep it. Maybe, even like thinking about it now, maybe like an old-time Bernardo Silva. he was good on the ball, right. He could keep it, and he had the aggression behind him.
Definitely.
This sort of does go into my second one as well, but it was the way it was a screamer. And I remember what wasn't there, but just remember seeing it on the TV. I remember seeing it when I was younger, and I thought, Jesus, footballers can do that. you can hit it, and it was, and that was that wasn't the City era that we know now. That wasn't the City era many people my age are seeing, or the younger generation are seeing now. That was United constantly win, United constantly do this, and he scored a goal like that, and the place erupted. It literally erupted, and then White is kind of in there as well because listen, there will be better goals, more meaningful goals.
Yeah.
But it was a celebration as well. I don't know if you remember it. It was the little Peter Crouch robot that he pulled out straight after it. He just pulled out a little robot, and that's one of the reasons it's in there. Kind of similar to the Bellamy one. Bellamy was never going to be a fan favourite for other teams, but he was for a lot of City fans.
Yeah.
Because he was the person that we all wanted to. Everyone always says, we say it as City fans, that like Joey Barton, aggressor, that thing, that was what Bellamy was like to us, and he had an absolute power shot, and it was like something off FIFA Street. Like he couldn't do much, but if he hits it,
it was a rocket.
It bangs it, and that's what he done, and it smacked the top right corner, and the way he done it, he just cut in, and he just hammered it, and I was sat there and I thought that was probably when, obviously that was a bit later on, that was a few years later, I sat there and I thought, oh, here we go. And that was just before, that was kind of the start of the takeover, the thing. I remember that was when we were sitting there and going, as fans, we were like, is this it? Is this where City start to turn? And then that drops into that top picture, which I don't care what you say, still haunts every single United fan to this day. Every single fan. And I think there's 2 reasons. I know what you're going to get into because we've spoke before, but I know what you're going to say. And for showboating and all that, you may take the top. But Balotelli, he was Marmite. He was, you either loved him or you hated him. And it was that polar scale of which one was it? For City fans, we loved him. Driving round in Lamborghinis, giving out watches, letting fireworks off his bathroom.
Yeah.
No other player could do what he done, as in terms of on the pitch. And there's a meaning behind that goal. And you know what I'm going to say? There will never, ever, ever, ever in any City fan's heart, you'll say Aguero, you'll say the Aguero moment. For a derby, for City to beat United 6-1, for it to be on the board, for it to be plastered around, and of where it wasn't, Balotelli pulling out stuff like that, I think it's not spectacular. It wasn't a spectacular goal. It was nothing amazing.
Do you know, I disagree slightly there, mate. It's an absolutely, like, it's a striker's finish, the calmness, the poise, and the coolness that he strokes it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful finish.
It is in terms of that, but it's not, for example, it's not a Sean Wright Phillips outside the area hammering it.
Goal of the season
It's
contender
not,
goal. Yeah.
But, and that's the thing, no one remembers the finish. Everyone remembers him lifting his top up, pulling out a "Why always me," and then the end of it ending 6-1. So that's the reason. Listen, there's been tons. There's been loads of goals, what we called Aguero moments. You know, there's been loads of stuff. But for me personally, Balotelli is always one, especially for my age range. We all loved him, and you never knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, talking through these goals, the Sean Wright Phillips one, you know, it's one of them. It's when we shouldn't be losing derbies, and you know, we can even go back to them, the Sean Gota ones at Main Road, and I think sometimes, I think for United fans, I think those derbies hurt more than when you were good, because we don't expect to lose to Manchester City. What are we doing losing to City? They're no one. There are nobody. And when that used to happen, you're like, turn your hair out, because you used to get it 10 times worse from your mates, from schoolmates, you know, anyone that was a City fan at that time, because it wasn't expected. The Bellamy one, possibly one of the best Premier League games of all time. You know, and what he did to Rio Ferdinand, not many players have ever done that to Rio Ferdinand. You know, for him to do that, it is something. And again, you talk about best Premier League moments of all time. You know, that image will go down in history, and you know, I think it's still used today in certain aspects of you know, popular media and culture and stuff like that. And you know, I can speak objectively looking at, I know I'm a United fan, it's possibly, you know, more than likely the worst derby I've ever watched and been a part of. You know, it's a dagger through the heart every time it gets mentioned, and Daps loves to mention it. But it's an iconic moment, and like you say, you know, he was Marmite, but I think in Manchester, I think he was universally loved from Reds and Blues, because he ingrained himself within the city. You know, he was friends with local artists. I know artists from Manchester who were friends with him, and like you say, he was going out, giving out money, giving out watches, and treating people just like, you know, someone who comes from nothing more likely often doesn't. And you know, he got unfair criticism, but that's because he's eccentric and because he doesn't conform to what a modern footballer, especially even at that time, should have been. I mean, if he was a big player now, he'd probably be even in more sort of bother in terms of having news stories about him. So, you know, City fan or a City player or not, you kind of warm to him, because he was living the dream every football fan does, but he was doing it in a way that a normal person would do it. And yeah, I mean, actually, I think it's a great fit. I can look at it objectively. It's a great finish, a great goal. Horrible result, horrible picture to look at. But yeah, I mean, three really great goals, mate. And Balotelli's the best one for you then, in terms of them three.
Yeah, I think it was just, obviously it's the overall. It's not just the goal. It is the background behind it. That's what I think does it for a lot of City fans. I know I'm not going to go into too much, but I know you're going to bring some up, which is a flip reversal. But there is a meaning behind it, and that's what it was. There's nothing that couldn't have gone any better for it. It could have been 6-0, but it couldn't. Do you know what I mean?
It should have been 10 apparently. So you know,
you're lucky it wasn't, mate.
Scored 4 in the last. He scored about 4 in the last 4 minutes. It was close till then.
Yeah, of course it was.
Just a quick one. Majis is saying that company header should have been there. Was that close?
So it was that was going to be the third one. The only reason that the way I done them was just purely because of the meaning. From when I just remember him, obviously everyone remembers company one. No one will ever forget that and what it meant. It's just, I think the first thing people ever think in their head, especially me, when you think of Vincent Kompany and goals, it's the Leicester one.
Leicester goal.
And when I sit there and go Shaw Mike Phillips, I think the Derby, that goal.
Yeah.
When I think of Bellamy, it's that one. And then, but I'll tell you, you can't forget the 6-1. I know we scored other goals in that game, but it comes with a meaning. So I think with the company shout, listen, it's a cracking shout, and Vincent Company, sitting there and doing it. But I just think it was one of them that them 3 goals for me, they just kind of, as soon as that question was asked and we were discussing it, I thought of them like that. Literally off the top of my head, just come into my head, and I thought, they must be if I'm thinking of them that quick. So
didn't take me long as well. We'll come on to mine in a minute. Obviously, Pat-Man saying if it's all time Derby goals, Dennis Law tops it. I mean, City fans will love that goal, but I don't think Mason was around then to witness the Dennis Law. And it is our top 3 that we've thought of that mean the most to us, as it normally is. Not sort of guessing which is the best of all time. So there's Mason's top 3 Derby goals, and three great goals in their own way. I would agree that the Balotelli one is the best. It's just, like you say, top 10 Premier League moments of all time, considering what he went through the day before in sort of the newspapers. Right, all you Reds that are locked in, it's time for mine. So let's have a look at my top 3 Derby Day goals. Some of them I think you're probably expecting. Why is it not coming up? That's annoying. Right, let me just get rid of it, and we'll.
None of them are good enough. That's why.
No, they clearly don't want to be shown, did they? What a nightmare. So like you said earlier on, we're discussing it in the chat kind of thing, and looking at what goals we wanted to do, and straight away these 3 sort of came to my mind without even hesitating. Really, I think I'm lucky enough to watch a lot of goals against you guys, but these 3 kind of sum up in each of their own moments. Are all great goals. So here are mine, and again, each of them tell their own story. Really, there's so many you can choose from. I've seen great goals from Roy Keane when he scored 2 against you in a derby. Kacelskis when he got a hat trick back in the 90s. Cantona scoring great goals against you as well. But these 3 for me, probably just for moments around them, like I say. So we'll start at number 3. Paul Scholes, and I mean that image again. You talk about classic Premier League. That gets shown all the time, and it, Gary Neville smacking one on the Ginger Ninja, as he used to be known by United fans. I mean, it was the same season, obviously, as the one from Michael Owen, which we'll talk about in a bit. But I mean, a last-minute winner in the derby, you don't get much better than that. And I think, regardless if it doesn't matter if we're both going for the league, if one of us is going for the league, just getting one over on the City fans, and having those bragging rights, because you get to sing for a couple of weeks. The City is blue or the City is red, whichever way you see it. And Paul Scholes, other than Cantona, my favourite United player of all time, scoring that header, which he's not the biggest player in the world, but getting a header to win at the Etihad, just amazing, just amazing. Paul Scholes, absolute legend, best English midfielder of his generation. Do you remember much about this game, Mason? Or
I do. The second one more because of how much it hurt. But it's one of them. As I say, these things that come in and you do. It's like you said, last minute winners are a bit more. They do. City fans know that all too well recently, Champions League, but we're not talking about that. But last minute things do, and more the second one than the third one. That does stick in my mind. But listen, that will never change.
No. Pat-Man there. I wonder if Neville could taste toes. I hope not. I'll be honest, mate. I hope not. It's not something I want stuck in my head. So there's my number 3. Paul Scholes in the derby, 2010. So we'll move on to same season. The game earlier on that season. Michael Owen. You might be thinking, why have I got Michael Owen in my top 3? Just because one thing I love about Michael Owen is that he's now hated by Liverpool fans as well, just for winning the league with us. That for me, taking away one of their great players that they loved and universally was regarded as not a legend, but also, you know, one of their own kind of thing. To take that away from him and just take that a little bit, it just gives me so much. Do you know, any taste the tears of rival fans? I'll absolutely love it. And that for me. But yeah, I mean, you had the Bellamy goal from this game. And like I said, I think it's, you know, possibly up there, top 5 at least Premier League games of all time. I mean, you know, you'd started to sort of bubble in terms, and you know, you were starting to get better and better, and we knew the gap was closing. Fergie definitely knew the gap was closing, and it was just a great game. I think whoever won that game probably deserved to win that game. I think it was end to end. It was cagey. It was feisty. There was tackles flying. There was a bit of animosity between all the players, which you saw, which is what you want in a derby. You know, it's too friendly now. You don't see those biting challenges and players really not getting along. And, you know, to win it like that, Michael Owen, great finish, great pass from the Welsh number 11, won't say his name, was brilliant. Again, you know, I was there and Gus gone crazy, absolutely gone crazy. And those moments in football, you can't really describe. To people that don't watch football, aren't a fan of football, and they wonder why we love it so much. It's moments like that, because one over your rival, last minute, you know, at the death, just scenes, just limbs, scenes. It's what we live for in this game, and it's just perfect, just perfect. Your thoughts on this one, Mason?
Shit goalation. We're even a good overhead kick. Didn't connect with it.
I love it.
Yeah, it's like I said. I knew that was gonna follow up from my number one. So listen.
So we're talking Owen. This one. This is Michael Owen.
Oh, 3 minutes. Top one. Sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah. That. As I mentioned, it's last minute. You know, nothing tops it. Nothing hurts when you get beat, and it's kind of one of them. Like you said, it was one of them games. It was one of them seasons where we did think, could it be? As in terms of, you know, is this the change? Is this where we start coming out a bit and things like that? And then, you know, when you lose at a derby, you seem to forget all that. And it could be. It generally is like City could be how we are now, top of the table. For example, do you know what I mean? Like we've been there, we're not at the minute, but and then you lose in a derby, and you just like, shit, forgot we're actually where we are. So it's one of them, and that will always happen. That's just how derby games are, and
of course,
you know that's like you said, it's just the way they are.
Yeah, absolutely. Simon says, what's the significance of the black stripe on that kit? So United years and years ago had a chevron on the kit. I believe they had a white one with a red chevron, and I think it's just a throwback to that. You know how kit manufacturers do. They kind of bring up the history and interpret it in different ways. So I probably would prefer the white stripe than a black one. But yeah, it's just a rehash of an old kit. Awais saying we easily had better derby goals. I mean, that may be the case, but I think, you know, as I said earlier, we're picking the ones that mean the most to us. So I'd like to know yours. Your City fan. So yeah, I'd like to know your top 3 derby goals. If you want to put them in the chat, I'll read them out. That's not a problem at all. So number one then, and I mean, it was obviously going to be number one. Again, simple fact, it often gets put down as the greatest Premier League goal of all time in some circles, and the fact he shinned it as well makes it even better. Not many players can shin it that good, but Wayne Rooney. I mean, it wasn't a great game. I don't know if you was there or you remember watching it. It wasn't a great derby. And I can't remember who even scored your goal. Was it David Silva? Was it?
Slippy services. You can see it in the background there. Someone falling.
Yeah. And Nani scored our goal, and it was kind of going. It was dying out the game when it was going to be a draw, a 1-1, and then, you know, a nice little bit of combination play for United, a ball from Nani. And that happens, and you know, the celebration, everything like that, and it's just a great goal, and it's just one of them moments that of many that Rooney had in his career, really, under Manchester United. And, we were talking earlier, it's funny because it circles back around, Mason, but, we were talking earlier about, players not getting the respect they deserve when they're playing for a club. I think Wayne Rooney for Manchester United fans is very much one of them players. I think, whether he stayed a little bit too long, he was probably finished 2 or 3 years before he actually left United. And, I, for one, I'm honest, I was critical of him, wanted him to move on, and my love for him kind of diminished. But now he's gone. I watched that documentary. It kind of made me fall back in love with him because there was a period of time and he was the best player in the league and he was just unplayable at times. And, the season where we had the Chevron kit was probably his best in the United shirt. And, we missed out on the league by a point, I believe, to Chelsea. That offside goal by Drogba at Old Trafford giving them the league, which he shouldn't have. And obviously, he got injured, I think, in the Champions League. Got knocked out by Bayern. We very much could have done a double with him. And I look back now and I think, what a player. And you'd give anything to have him at Manchester United now. So that has to go down as my favourite derby goal of all time. And I'm guessing for you, Mason, it's probably you're sick of seeing it because it's just something that will always be shown in derby, montages before a game. It's just one that's going to get thrown in your face, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. It is one of them. It's because, like you said, it's the way it was taken. It's the way it is. I think what makes it worse is, like you said, I know it is the point, but because it's in a derby, regardless of it being an overhead kick or what it is, a shin kick, whatever it is. If it wasn't in a derby, it wouldn't be spoke about as much. That's my personal opinion. It's still a class goal. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
Just thinking, obviously, because it's in derby, and that hurts City fans more. Do you know what I mean? Like that because of what the occasion, what it means. It's one of them. But listen, we all have them moments, don't they? Where you have them goals and you've got to take it. You've got to take it on the chin, and that's just how it is. That's football. So.
Unfortunately, it is. So there we go. There are mine and Mason's top 3 Derby Day goals. Hope you've enjoyed them. If you didn't agree with them, then unfortunately, you can let us know yours. That's the whole point. Let us know in the comments your top 3 Derby Day goals. Mason, I really appreciate you spending some time with me, mate. And filling in for Daps, you've done really well. Because I'm into kits, there's just one question coming from Daniel, so I'm just going to answer this dead quickly. Double A, random question: who produces better kits for you, Adidas or Nike? I'm Team Nike all the way. I think the more innovative in terms of they've got better. I remember when United ended with Nike, and I think it was one of your maybe first seasons with them, Mason. Do you remember when they had them third kits? And it was I think yours was purple, but it was 2-tone purple with the luminous yellow stripe down it.
Yeah.
And United had a blue one. It was awful. And I was like, I'm so happy that we're getting rid of Nike now. But we've gone to Adidas and they're getting worse and worse and worse. You see that?
Yeah, they are.
That snot kit that we've got as a third kit this season. It's terrible. And I think there's too many templates from Adidas. And I also think Nike produced better kits. You look at Barcelona's this year. I mean, that template that they have for the shirts this year is getting a lot of flack. But I think in some shirts, it looks good. So, yeah, I think Nike are the best. And I think you may not agree with me, but I think Macron are making some of the best kits in football. Go and check out the Canadian Premier League. They do all the kits for the Canadian Premier League. Some of their shirts from this season are amazing. You'll probably want to go and buy them. They're absolutely. Because what they've done is they've took history from each club and they've incorporated into the kits, and they're absolutely brilliant. There's a show on Talking Kit. If I just promote Talking Kit, they're quick. We did a show. We got a show called Full Kit Rankers. We ranked 10 shirts. We had one of the commentators from the Canadian Premier League come on, and we ranked their home shirts for that season. Go and have a look. It's absolutely brilliant. I know Solo's put the link into Talking Kit. Thank you again, Solo. Right, yeah. Anyway, that's the end of the show. Daps will be back next week. I won't be here as I'm away. Mason, again, mate, thank you so much for spending some time.
Cheers, appreciate it, mate. It's good chat.
Where can everyone find you on the old social media?
Yeah, so just sort of mainly Twitter, where I take abuse off fans sometimes. It's just Mason Cook 96. It's simple one. Just give me some shit. It's funny. I like it. I enjoy it. As City fans at the minute, it's good when we get it because we can most certainly give it out nowadays. So it's great. But yeah, just that's across most of the socials. So give us a follow. Like I said, I occasionally come on here with Daps and well and just talk about City and talk about how much I love the club. So yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, make sure you go in and follow in Mason. He's been absolutely brilliant. And hopefully we see him again on a City United. It's a nice change in having Daps on here all the time, just trying to ham it up all the City stuff all the time. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, with me, Talking Kit is obviously I'm on Never a Foul. This is the channel I talk football on. I'm not sure when I'm next on. I'll say I'm away from Friday. But we'll be back with other shows. I'm sure we'll be back tomorrow. Cass, Ty, Mo, and the guys giving you lots of content. Talking Kit, I'm back on Talking Kit tomorrow. So if you don't know about Talking Kit, it's me and two other guys, and we make the best football shirt content. So if you're into your football shirts, you need to be on and following and subscribing to Talking Kit. It is in the description below. I think we're on about 260 subscribers. We need to try and hit 1,000. So everyone that's in here, everyone that's watching, make sure you go over to Talking Kit. Give us a subscribe. So our new series of one of our shows, Full Kit Rankers, starts tomorrow, 8 p.m. Like I say, we sit down with Josh, who's the Kitman, on Twitter and Instagram, one of the biggest accounts in terms of football shirts. We sit down with him and a guest, and we rank 10 shirts from 10 to 1. We all score them, gives us a definitive list, and then we give you that list through the show. We're looking at 10 of the best anniversary shirts, so shirts that have been brought out for a team's anniversary. We're looking at 10 of them. And the guest we've got on tomorrow to start off the series, probably the biggest guest we've had on the channel so far. So if you're into your football shirts, you'll probably know about Classic Football Shirts, the biggest seller of football shirts in the world. We've got one of the co-founders, Doug, on. He's going to come and talk to us about kit. So yeah, tomorrow, 8 p.m, Talking Kit, Full Kit Rankers Series 2 kicks off. I'd love it for you all to be here watching with us and subscribing to the channel. But that's it for us. It is the City United. Make sure you're liking the video, subscribing to Never a Foul. Daps is going to be back very, very soon. I will see you all later as well. Have a good evening and take it easy.